Okay. Hello, I am here with Brianna McGagin, one of our Econ alumni. Brianna graduated back in 2017, I believe, and she is currently pursuing her MA in Urban Education Policy at Brown University after some pretty cool stints in education policy. So I'm overjoyed to have Brianna join us here. Brianna was one of my favorite students from back in the day, and not that long ago, I guess. And really just want to spend a few minutes just kind of talking about what you're doing right now, kind of how you got here, and really, just sort of give an opportunity for our current students to see, what you can do with an econ degree. One of the many things you can do with an econ degree. So Brianna, why don't you just tell us a little bit about the master's program that you're in right now?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
So I, like you said, I'm at Brown University getting an urban education policy degree, and it's a one-year program. It really focuses in on kind of the governance of education, program evaluation, and I'm actually in an economics course right now on like education econ, and so different analyses of different programs and policies that impact the education arena.
Yeah. So are you looking more at sort of K through 12 education, higher education? Is there a specific focus that,
Yeah,
each
so
course
it's
you're doing or what you want to do going forward?
yeah, it's definitely more focused on K through 12.
Mhm.
There, because it's still just education policy, there's still some conversation on higher ed and some conversation on early education. But yeah, mostly looking at the public education from K to 12.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. So what are you hoping to do after you finish your master's?
Yeah, that's the big question. So right now I'm interning with a small consulting firm in Denver, and they're an education consulting firm, and they do, on one end, they do like a bunch of adequacy studies with different schools, states, districts, to kind of look at like how they're managing their money and is it the most equitable or the most adequate ways to utilize their funding. And on the other end, they do a lot of program evaluation. And so that's the side I've been on for the last few months, working on evaluating and evaluating different education policies and programs, and kind of trying to get to the root of like how valuable are they, how much value is it adding. So that's been fun, and I think I'm trying to stay on the program evaluation
Yeah,
side.
that certainly sounds like a lot of what we did in economics. So uh, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you're using your econ degree. Uh,
Yeah, 100%. So I think one of the biggest things that my econ degree has done for me is like giving me a way of thinking about problems. It's given me a lens to think through like solving big, complex problems. So, right after I left San Diego State, I was a teacher for 2 years, taught high school math, and like there was a lot of higher end thinking problems that lens allowed me to kind of bring to life some of my lesson plans for my
yeah.
students. And then obviously I went to be a policy analyst for the Governor's Office of Student Achievement in Atlanta, which again, just this way of thinking about money, thinking about incentives, thinking about what levers are you pulling and what
Yeah.
kind of reactions are you trying to get people to make based off of your bigger picture goals.
Yeah. No, I
So
mean, that sounds like, our principles of economics, right? Is that people respond to incentives and there's scarcity and, we'd like to be able to do everything, but we have limited resources. So you got to pick what's the most effective thing. And that's really seems like kind of the program evaluation you're looking at, some really important questions. Yeah, no, that sounds so cool. So, what were like some of the cool things you're doing at the Georgia governor's office? Like, what were
Yeah,
some of the big policies you were looking at?
yeah. So being at the governor's office, you're kind of beholden to the governor, which is something I, should have known, but learned pretty quickly once I was in there. And so we look at a lot of like his priorities. So we were looking at one of the bigger ones we looked at was the financial efficiency star rating. And so it basically tries to decide if it's a measurement that I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's a measurement that tries to say that a school is or isn't efficient with their funding based off of their test scores.
Gotcha. There's so many moving parts there, right? Because,
Yeah.
what's the right measure to look at for outcomes? Is it test scores? And if it is, what kind of incentives does that create for the schools? And yeah, it's such a, just big area of research, I know, in economics, and certainly it has a lot of practical applications as you're showing.
Right.
Yeah, no, that sounds so interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So let's say there's a current student that wants to sort of follow in your footsteps and get involved with educational policy analysis. Do you have any advice for them? I mean, are there kind of classes maybe they should take a look at, internships, just any general, words of wisdom for them?
Yeah, no, great question. So, and you probably remember, but I didn't become an econ major until my senior year, like officially declared econ. And
Yeah.
I just crammed a ton of econ classes into that year, which was so fun. To only take just econ classes that were thought provoking and really helped me see a ton of different things from a ton of different lenses.
Right.
I remember obviously your classes stood out a lot, health of econ and developing nations econ.
Right.
But also the economics of love is what we called it in class.
The econ of marriage and the family.
Yeah.
Part, yeah.
And so it's just I would say just take anything that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's really just you just want to get that kind of way of thinking, and just kind of like put on the cap of an economist and
developing your analytical and critical thinking skills is what we call it. So absolutely.
Let it be fun.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful advice. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to do better at something that you think is interesting than something you're bored with. And so that's true in school, and that's true in life also. So Brianna, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day and share this information with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add? And that's all right if not.
No, not particularly. Just just thank you so much for having me. And even though it took me till my senior year to find it, my friends can't stand listening to me sometimes. But it's definitely it really was like my space. It helped make sense of the world, and it helped me make sense of big problems that matter to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you found something you enjoy doing, and I can't wait to see what you're doing next. Really exciting. So thank you so much for meeting with us, and I'm sure all of our students are really going to be helped a lot by this.
Awesome. Thank you.